What if I told you at the end of this video, you will be more disciplined while being alone without having anybody to tell you what to do? First things first, that I gotta tell you, if there's no accountability, then there's no discipline. So boom, there I was cutting, but it's one of my faults. It took me a while to get down to cutting because I was trying to intuitively eat, right? Even when I was like, okay, I'm gonna track it this time, it would start out nice. It would start out clean, healthy food, and then it'll end with a bowl of ice cream. And so I couldn't bring myself to track my failure, right? Because it would just hurt. I couldn't face the fact that I failed on what I set out to do and that I'm going against what my goals are. I'm going against what I believe I am, right? It'd be a ego hit. It'd be a pride hit because I know that I'm way off. I'm way off my calorie deficit. So it got frustrating because it's like I'm training, but I'm killing my progress. I'm killing my gains, but I'm training. So it's like I'm doing the work and getting like no results from it. And it's my own fault. You know what I'm saying? It's nobody's fault except myself. And the problem, short and simple, was discipline. Simple as that. It's just discipline. Now I want to ask you, what would you do in this hopeless situation? Maybe you are in this situation, but I really want you to think, what would you do? A lot of people, they have different ways of staying disciplined. They find their own route. I think the best way worked for me, what I'm about to share with you. But first, let me give you an option. People say accountability partner or have a friend or whatever. This is cool, but it's not always effective because nobody cares about your goal as much as you do, right? And the only way that this can be effective is if your friend is on the same goal, if they're following the same path, they're cutting just like you are, or even if they're bulking but they're like dedicated just as you are, because then you guys can kind of keep each other accountable. But if you guys aren't on the same goals, like if he's just like a video gamer but you're trying to get in the gym, there's no way you're gonna lose accountability in yourself. It's just not gonna work. And so that's why it's kind of like the other person slack but you don't. The discipline levels are just not the same. Like there's so many factors that go into having an accountability partner that might not match your energy, and it's just not effective. All you got is yourself, right? The reality is that you're at a point in life where you're outgrowing your old friend, you're progressing, you're evolving into somebody different, but you're not high enough, how Chris Williamson says, you're not high enough to be with the successful friends or the people that you want in your circle. And so you find that you're just like in this lonely chapter of your life. And so the question is, how do you stay disciplined when you're alone? How do you hold yourself accountable to the things that you're doing? And it's bittersweet. Just do the work, right? And that's what I had to do. That's what I'm saying. I'm not just telling you just to do the work and then I'm over here still eating crappy and stuff like that and still having the same problem. Once I just decided to just, okay, like F this event. Yeah, once I had my FTE, it's like, bro, I'm not progressing. I'm setting myself back and it's my own fault. I'm gonna just do the work and see what happens. Even if it's for one day. So I'm gonna keep doing it until I see progress. Because then I got so mad at my failures that I'm not gonna stop until I see progress now. And so you do it. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Okay, this is getting easier. I'm not getting the cravings as much as I used to. I'm drinking more water. I'm doing this. And then you start seeing a little bit of a difference. You start noticing it first. And then other people start noticing it. And then you're like, okay, now you become obsessed because you got a taste of what your true potential can be, and you can see that you're becoming that new version of yourself. You have to almost be like a scientist, tracking your progress, tracking every detail on your habits and all that stuff like that, without judgment. That's another thing, without judgment. You might surprise yourself and be like, oh snap, like I'm not even over the calorie deficit. I'm actually in a calorie deficit and I thought I ate like crap, and in reality you didn't. Those interesting things, like you'll never get a chance to know that if you're not holding yourself accountable. And you have to write down your failure. That's a major part, because you got to just suck it up and take that ego hit. When you can see it on paper, when you could see your failure, it's gonna make you not want to do it again. It's like a punishment. You're like, okay, tomorrow I cannot do this. I gotta be better. And then when you have the temptation to do it, you think back to that failure and you're like, nah, I can't do that. And so you're improving, and you're in that way you hold yourself accountable. Here's an example. Like I have my habit tracker, basically the pyramid of fitness, which is your sleep, your diet, and your exercise. So once I started tracking and analyzing and looking at what I'm doing, how I'm feeling, how I felt when I slept this much and how I felt when I slept a lot more, how I felt when I ate something and how I felt when I didn't, or when I trained or when I switched it up a little bit, you start to learn a lot about yourself mentally and physically. And you don't have to do what I did with the habit track and stuff like that. If you want, it's in the link in the description. And it's like, oh, he's trying to sell me something. No, it's free anyway. So like, shut the hell up. Just do the work. If you need help, I'm trying to help you. So do the work. If you want to make your own, then you could do that too. But it's about tracking the things that you do, tracking your success. But once I started seeing progress and seeing the routine and my habits, it made me hungrier for that success. It made me hungrier for the potential. So I started dropping weight. And so when you fail at something, you will physically see you setting yourself back, and you know that you won't want to do it again, because you'll see it. Like if you mess up your sleep, now you'll see that how it now affects your discipline. And then now you didn't even work out as hard, and now you're tempted to binge eat, or you might have binge ate now because your decision making capabilities is now slightly messed up with because you didn't sleep that much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a whole thing, and now you're like, oh wow. And you just learning. It's a learning process. And I don't know, I think it's beautiful. I think think it's beautiful. And but all that to say that all starts with you first doing the work. And that's what anything, even if you did have an accountability partner, even if you did have somebody, so you still got to do the work first. And then somebody's gonna tell you to face like, no, that's not enough, or you ate too much sugar, like, but it still takes you doing the work first. This is just a way to do it alone, so you don't have to depend on somebody, or somebody's not as disciplined as you, or in that chapter of your life like how I am, where I'm just alone right now. You get to know yourself better, you become your better self, and you discard what you're not. It's a little sad being in that lonely chapter, but it is what it is. The work still has to be done. Is that gonna be an excuse why you don't grow? That's another thing too, is like, I don't want to go by myself. It's like, bro, just go. Like, what's stopping you? You have to learn to be alone. And people use that as an excuse, but it's like, then what you want must not be worth it because you need somebody to be with you. Because if it was worth it, if you wanted it bad enough, you wouldn't care if you're doing it alone and doing it with somebody regardless. It's nice to have people there, I'm not gonna lie, but how bad do you want it? And that's pretty much it, man. I'm gonna just give you a quick description about the habit tracker. Like I said, it's free. If you want to get it, it's there. It tracks your sleep, or it's for you to track your sleep, to track your water intake, track your diet, and then, you know, a little summary of notes of how you feel, whatever, blah blah blah. And yeah, you can check it out. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, man. Mad love. Peace.